I'm well. How old are you?
How old am I? 47.
You need to get somewhere with the lights in the front of you. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, you have a question, or do you want? Or you? Because the topic is it time to expand options?
I would say definitely yes.
Okay. Yes, it is.
I think for me it is. Um, I know for the past maybe
You
five
think it's
years.
time for you to expand your options
Yes,
to non-black men?
of course.
You have any children?
One.
How old?
She's 21.
There you go, folks.
How tall are you?
Five
There you go.
seven.
Just size.
I think I'm a 10.
How much did you weigh the last time you weighed yourself?
187. Are you serious?
Yep.
What options do
100%.
you have at half 100 and almost 200 pounds?
It's all in the right places. I'm solid. I used to be a track runner, so a lot
What
of.
options do you have to expand at half 100 and almost 200 pounds?
Oh my gosh! So what options? And that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest with you,
What women who are almost 50 years old have a lot of options?
we don't have a lot of options.
And
So
a
why do
mom.
you think you can expand them outside of your race?
Well, because lately I've isolated myself only to my race. I've never really dated
You
outside
haven't
my
you
race.
haven't isolated yourself. Those are your only choices.
Um, I would probably say yes and no.
So non-black men of
Mhm.
value approach you.
I would say yes.
When was the last time a
Oh my
non-black
God.
man approached you in public with the intention of meeting you and taking you out on a romantic evening?
There's no such thing.
I would probably say probably a year ago.
And where'd you
Damn.
go?
At that time, I was not interested in dating.
No. That's
I
bullshit.
did okay. No,
That's
I'm not
bullshit.
bullshitting you.
That
Like
is
I'm just
bullshit.
watching your show. That's what
No.
they
I
say.
asked a very specific question, man.
Okay.
Were you single at the time?
Yes, I've been single for a while.
Right. So I asked you, when was a non-black man of value approached you with the intention of taking you out on a romantic date? You said a year ago.
Right.
How do you know he was interested in taking you out on a romantic date if you didn't go?
Well, because I was asked.
By
And
whom?
yes, I was asked.
By
But at
whom?
that,
By him?
yes.
Did he already know you?
Yes, we were acquainted with each other.
How were you acquainted?
We've known each other for a while, and
So in other words, see how you understand, guys? I said approached. Somebody that you know doesn't approach you. Approach means the implication is a
oh,
stranger.
stranger. Yeah. Okay. Well, no, I have not had that.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
We're in
I
the right
agree.
spot.
Okay. I just got it wrong. So
I mean, I'm curious though, why do you think the solution lies in non-black men at your age?
you know what? I'm not saying that is the solution. I'm just saying that maybe I should try something new and try to date something, outside of my race. I would love to date a black man. Like my father.
But ma'am, you said it's time for me to
How is it?
expand my options.
Yes.
How is it? How is it that we still have parents, fathers, raising these females and they still make the wrong choice? I just simply don't get it, folks. I just simply don't get it.
Because I'm just not having. I'm not having.
Something's not right, man.
I'm still single, trying to date in my race. So now I'm just thinking outside of the box. Should I date outside of my race and see if I get a different result, or
You don't have those options.
Okay.
I mean, I don't understand. It's like saying, let me see which Ivy League school I would go to. Princeton, Yale, Columbia, Brown, and you can't get in a junior college.
Oh, I've
Good
been
point.
to a junior college,
That's a metaphor.
and I
At
have
50 years old, you should understand the analogy.
Yeah, see, it's a metaphor, lady.
That's an analogy, a
Okay.
comparison. Seriously?
Okay.
Man, why are you postulating things that don't really are possibility?
So you don't. I mean, so you don't think.
You don't have non-black men of value approaching you to date you.
Okay.
So how can you expand that option?
And I wanted to give it a try and see what happens.
If no one's approaching you, how can you try it?
Well, like I said, I can say part of that is my responsibility, which I am going to take ownership with. I know with me, I do isolate myself. I,
Do
you
you
know,
work?
even with,
Do you work from home?
yes.
Oh.
And I've been working from home for the past 5 years
So
before
you
going.
don't. How often do you leave the house?
I mainly leave the house mainly for leisure, like if I go dancing. I love to hike, so I
How
hike.
often do you grocery shop?
I grocery shop once a week.
Well, you don't go to the gym.
Oh, yes, I do.
No way. No way. No way. And you look like, oh my God, no way. And these are the things that really make the female lens kind of confusing. You said that you were a track. You used to be in track. But then you look a little bit, in the puffy side. But then you still go to the gym. So something is not right. You might, you're a little puffy here. What's going on?
Yes, but you gotta remember, I'm all solid. Like I don't have fat really,
You do have fat. We can see over here.
but
How many times a week do you go to the gym?
I go at least 3 times a week, and
There
I
we
hike
go.
on the weekends.
And you go to a local gym, or is it a woman's gym?
I'm open to. I go to a personal trainer, and I go to a regular gym. But most of my weight I put on during quarantine.
But if you go to the gym, man, that's public.
Oh yeah,
And then you go grocery shopping once a week.
yes.
So you
That's
out
at least
there.
4 times a week you're in public.
Okay.
You're
And I
not
go
gonna.
to church. I do go to church.
That's more times. So
Yeah.
that means you're not locked in the house. So if
You cannot make this stuff,
non-black
folks.
men found you appealing,
They will approach
they
you.
could approach you,
They could.
but they
That's
don't.
if I look
But they don't.
right, and they don't, and I don't understand
See,
why.
because they don't
Don't
find you
up
attractive.
because they don't like you. It doesn't matter you're white, Chinese, Latina, white. If you're attractive, guys are gonna approach you. I used to do it myself. I didn't have any. I have more preferences for white girls, of course, but I don't approach anything. Back in the day when I used to do my pickup artist stuff, I used to just approach anything. But more white girl because that was my preference. But if there was a beautiful black girl, I would do it. It doesn't really matter. If you are attracted, if your senses go like this, your body will want to at least get it, go and you shoot your shot kind of thing. It just you can tell the age from far away. I think, man.
Attractive.
Okay, I mean that's fine.
I want you
Everybody
guys to
has a
understand that. This is the black girl magic. These women have been pumped so much to where it's like I gave you the Ivy League example,
Oh my God. Okay.
and you're still talking about, well, I'm still want to expand my options to Ivy League.
I didn't say I
You're a
need. I just said to other.
God damn it! I gave an
race.
example. Are you? Oh Jesus! I gave an example. Do you want me to explain the example again?
No, you did not. I get your example.
Well, then stop acting silly, because it's gonna go off the rails.
This is post average at best. This is post average at best, Kevin. He's not patient. This is way post average at best. So you will see more of short fuse with Kevin Samuels.
A conversation, and you're acting like you don't know what I'm talking about.
I do know what you're talking about.
Why don't you just deal with the reality, ma'am, that you don't have non-black men approaching you, and it's not likely that it's going to happen, especially at your age.
Okay.
This is not how it works. especially men do they have any value because we tend to be more race loyal the older we get and the more we're up the socioeconomic scale. What's going on with your audio? Am I on speakerphone?
I have you, yeah, on the speaker. I don't have anything in my ear.
Okay. When was the last time you had a relationship?
It's last time I had a committed relationship, I could say it was 5 years ago.
My
When was the last
God.
time you had sex?
Last time I would say about 2 years ago.
Wow, that thing has to be dry, bro. It's sad, bro. That means that the doors are closing fast, man. Because if you still go to the gym, supposedly you have all this muscle, built in some areas, and you're still not getting it. Oh man, that means that the doors are closing. Doors are closing.
Relationship 5 years ago, sex 2 years ago. Effectively, you're kind of dead from the waist down.
Yep.
Okay,
You
that's
don't
your
really get out. You say you don't get out to socialize or whatever. You said you had somebody that you were familiar with, and he approached you, and you turned it down.
and I have reasons behind that, but
Whatever they are, ma'am.
you know,
They
The
were
only
the
common
wrong.
denominator in your dating history is you and your inability to connect with anybody.
Yep.
I can agree to that when it comes to dating. Yes.
Okay, so how we got down this crooked path is the notion that a jagged pill, like you're describing, should expand your options. What was a man's race have to do with your situation?
And I'm not saying that a
Oh,
man's
she
race has
dismissed
to do
everything.
anything with my situation. I'm just saying that I've never given that an opportunity to try to date out of my race. So just to have that available, like I want to leave that option open and available if that opportunity did come.
I don't think she's getting it though.
Okay. If it
That's
makes you
all.
feel, sure. Not really reality, but fine. Well, why aren't you actively trying to put yourself out here?
Well, now, to be honest, yes, now I am. And I do find myself.
But you have a 21-year-old.
21.
And you're 40 what?
47.
So why have you just kind of given up?
Like in dating, I don't know.
Because this happens a lot with our generation. Our women seem to really focus a lot on their career, and then they'll focus on raising their child. And then once the child gets to be 18 and 21, you got women who are in their mid 40s, early 50s with no real relationship skills.
Right.
Thinking you can still date like you did in your 20s.
Yep. Delusional.
Right. So, and I know that's the part of my life that I damaged. I take full responsibility of that because I was too afraid coming out of the relationship that I was in. And I did not want to be damaged good.
You go with the South story now.
To somebody else.
How long ago was that relationship over?
With my daughter's father or the 5-year relationship?
Whichever one you said was damaged, I'm assuming your daughter's father.
I would say both of them were,
Common denominator here. There we go. She's now putting the noose in her neck. She's doing that by herself.
Very hurtful relationships. My daughter's father was, after I had my daughter, I had no relationships with him afterwards.
How is it that you give a kid to someone that you have problems with? My God.
And then the other relationship,
this is insane. Keep going.
That was 5 years ago.
So I'm curious. Let me switch gears.
Okay.
What do you tell your daughter when it comes to relationships and to rank them and their priority?
That has always been a struggle for me, to tell you the truth.
What do you tell her?
Go ahead.
What do you tell her?
I tell her the things that I wish I
Is a relationship, do you tell her to prioritize relationships?
No.
No, I don't.
There we go. I knew it. No way. The apple does not fall far from the tree. Doesn't. She's literally imposing her experience to her daughter, and her daughter will do the same thing that she did. Guarantee.
So basically, you're dooming her too.
And I think I do that, you know.
Oh, you're a single mom.
And I think that I do tell her to prioritize that.
Yeah, but
And
you
then
don't do it. But you don't. But she doesn't see you doing it.
right. And I know that
So
too.
basically, and the reason I brought this up is because people with only children, especially with daughters or having one daughter, those daughters tend to end up jacked up. I did a show talk about our modern mothers destroying their daughters, and they are because most daughters look at their mothers and like, well, damn, she doesn't talk about relationships like they're positive. It's all fear based. She doesn't teach me anything, hasn't taught me anything. Let's see. Is your daughter a good student?
My God.
Well, she's not in school right now, but when
Was
she
she a
did,
good student in high school?
yeah, she was average.
Mhm.
You know,
When you
she had got
speak,
C's and
when you
B's.
speak to your daughter, how often do you contact her, or does she contact you?
My daughter still live at home.
21.
Yes.
What is she doing?
Well, she just got her CNA license, and now she's working on her RN license. So I've given my
Do you
daughter.
talk to your daughter about your relationship problems?
Yes, I do. Because now I'm noticing her.
Is she like your best friend then?
Yeah, me and our daughter talk.
Oh my God. And this is the mistake. Single mom use their kids as emotional dumpers, man. My God, she's using her kids as a wet pillow. And remember, folks, nobody want to sleep in a wet pillow. That's her daughter, a wet pillow. Oh my God.
Because
So basically, what you're creating is called a mother wound.
Yep.
What do you mean by that?
Yep.
Mother wound. Hold your emotional baggage. Make my mother feel better. Listen to her problems. Agree with her opinions. Never say no. Be her best friend.
Yeah. It's basically a wet pillow, man. She's creating a wet pillow. Nobody want to sleep in the wet pillow.
Talk about this mother-daughter attachment style, because ultimately, man,
She effed her daughter.
daughters see, we're used to faulting fathers, and women who are not happy with their dating lives tend to not make it look appealing to their daughters. So their daughters tend to end up like, well, damn. It's not like you talk about men in a good or glamorizing way or anything. It's like, well, men are something to be avoided or leery of. Huh?
I've never done that to her.
You're demonstrating
Well,
your action.
whether you do it, whether you say it or not, you don't have good things to say about men in relationships. You're living life off grid for the most part. So if women, okay, if your daughter saw you with the men or talking about how great men are to have around, why men are so valuable and so important, and what you should do to make a man happy because men are so special, her outlook on manhood and relationships will be very different than get your degree, go to school, get your CNA, get out here. And like you said, relationships are not a priority. So basically, you're teaching your daughter to grow up and be you.
There we go.
No, well, the thing is, Kevin, is that I've even pushed that on my daughter to make it a priority, but I do feel that she needs a level of education to be able to take care of herself.
Exactly what I just said.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So my thing is with her.
Again, they make their daughters carbon copies of them, and they give their daughters fear, scarcity, and lack. Their success, your daughter's success, is not in a man; it's in a job and an education.
But I've always told my daughter that
it is not you have taught your daughter like so many women taught. Okay, we teach our kids by what we say, but also what we do. Has your daughter ever had a serious boyfriend?
She did have one after she graduated
how
from high
old?
school. She was about 19, between 18 and 19.
And how long were they together?
It didn't last that long. About maybe 6 months. It didn't last that long.
Oh, that's a huge red flag. She's young, folks, and she cannot keep a relationship. Oh my God.
She's 21 years old and lives at home.
Hmm.
So your daughter, it's called sister daughters. Your
Okay.
daughter is like your sister.
No, I'm mom.
No.
If you
I'm
talk
still.
to
I
your
mean,
daughter
I
about
have a.
if you
I
talk to
have
your
a.
daughter about your personal problems, that's not what moms do.
Well, this is what I do with my daughter. I do with her what's age appropriate, or if I feel the conversation is needed to be had. So if
Oh
my
my
daughter
God.
came to,
This is why you need a father in your home, man. This is why you need father. A father will never allow this thing to happen. I mean, I understand there's fathers that are simps, and they are, you know, in their in the in not in a situation with father, but the majority, a good father would not ever never allow this to happen. This is the same because that's why you have a husband to deal with problems like this.
to
What do
me,
you tell your daughter men are for?
I tell my daughter about what men are for, to be, providers, to be a support system, to be a companionship. I tell my daughter about men.
And what does your daughter see you mirror? What does your daughter see you
You know
living
what?
in?
And I'm guilty of that. Like I sit back
Thank
and
you. Stop, breathe.
right, I do think about
Stop,
that.
breathe.
Stop.
Stop, breathe. Stop and
Stop.
breathe.
Yeah, sorry. I do take
Stop and
about.
Stop
breathe.
and breathe.
Stop and
Right? Like,
breathe.
damn, man. You have to stop.
You have told your daughter a bunch of stuff that you ain't living. And
I
she's
know.
seen mama live a life off the
A singleness.
grid.
Hmm.
Exactly.
And I'm not disagreeing with you, Kevin, at all. Like,
But what I'm saying is when I said sister daughter, it's like, no, I'm mom. No, your sister. You've
well,
taught
maybe because I
daughter.
don't see it that way.
Okay, like it or not, you ain't my first rodeo. And the bottom line is this is important because if we don't start having more women recognize what they're doing to their daughters are going to end up living their lives. Your daughter is on the path to becoming an independent woman. No man. And what do you think is going to happen? Likely
I hope it
happen.
doesn't
What do
happen.
you think is likely going to happen if she
I hope.
continues down this path inside of 9 years? Likely will have a baby
Like
because
you.
that's this path.
Yep.
80% of our children are born out of wedlock because we have mothers who don't prioritize relationships with their daughters. They prioritize making sure that their daughters have jobs and careers and degrees and debt and everything else. Because you don't even have it in your life because the main thing that's running through your head is fear and this and that. And I'm like, this is a cycle.
I know.
And it has to stop with you ladies. Your generation of women has to get real about your lives, where it is, and what you've done to the younger women, because you're the women that they're looking at. That's why
And
I have so many
I
young
can
women
accept
calling into
that.
my show because you're their mother.
And I can accept that 100%.
But I don't think it's gonna happen, Kevin. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Gold. But based on my understanding of female nature, man, accountability is very hard for them to even fathom. It's very hard. Imagine a 50-year-old female, a group of 50-year-old females saying, "Do you know we did it wrong? Let me just teach our new generation how it's gonna do it." No, because we're seeing it right now. We're seeing it. We are watching it. We see these people going crazy with the pronouns and stuff like that, and how some of these females they say stupid stuff like, "Yeah, just be you." Yes, body shaming, all that stuff. It's coming from that generation, Generation X, Generation Boomers, because there's the one teaching the new generations. So I think there's gonna be a generation that is gonna lose a lot. It's gonna lose a lot. And I think it's gonna be the generations, millennials and generations C. It's gonna be hard, right? Some of them, you know, the writing was on the wall, but they ignored it, and you have to let this thing play out because they're not gonna understand it. The only way I know females tend to learn a lot is by getting hit in the knee. When you get hit in the knee, it hurts. Yeah, that's when you learn how to avoid getting hit in the knee, right? I think that's the only way, folks.
Because now that I've, gotten older and kind of look back over things, most of the
Too
things
late.
that you have said, it's been true. But how do I undo a lot of the things that I
Too
have
late.
done? And that's the problem.
You have to own it. You have to own it first.
Right.
When
And
somebody tells you
I'm
something, hold on. When somebody tells you something, you don't say no. This isn't it. No, that is it. And just like here's the thing.
but that was the
Here's
first time I
There
heard
we
listen,
go.
it.
listen,
There we
listen,
go.
listen.
Yeah.
One of the biggest issues right now is at 47, you're still in a position, right, wrong, or indifferent, where you're still trying to salvage the bit of life you have left to get some happiness out of it. And the difference is we had grandparents our age, they didn't have to do that. They were married for 20 plus years. They weren't single.
Yep.
Single people are individual. They're not worried about it. You're worried about your dating options. When your focus should really be in our, if we were children, the women your age, their focus was us. Their focus was come over to Granny's house. I'm gonna bake my baby some cookies. Come stay with grandmama. Can I go? Who let that baby stay over here? You will be in tug of war between your mom and your grandparents' house or your auntie's house. We had an abundance of love because we didn't have a bunch of goddamn single women trying to get out here and
Yeah.
ride the train and
Yeah.
figure
Call
out
it
how to
how it
expand
is.
their options. Their option was in the other room, even if the man had passed on. We got a bunch of single, older women who are looking at their daughters and saying, I made a mistake. I didn't know, but mama got a life too, and I don't have but another good 10 years before and it's human nature. Human nature, survival is hardwired into us, and so many of our Generation X women are trying to have a relationship to survive. The very thing that you didn't prioritize in your youth. And the sad part is, maybe the answer is not that you get your relationship. Maybe the answer is you actually help your daughter understand the value of a man.
Take the
And
L.
that's
Instead of
what
worrying about expanding your options, you give her better choices than you
Yeah.
had.
Take the L.
and that's what I have been doing. Like and I totally agree with you. And I've been trying to figure that out. You know that I don't want to be a stumbling block for her. Like I want her to possibly get married one day and have a
Okay.
family because I didn't have that opportunity.
She's not
So
gonna
when
have
she
that.
does meet someone, I'm not trying to sabotage it. I try to support her the best way I can.
Something that I noticed about Generation X, Generation Boomers, they are very intrusive to their kids' lives, man. And I don't know what is the problem. It has to do with the way they came up before their last generation, right? But you have to understand that, in my opinion, feminism just came full force with these people. With Boomers and Generation X, full force, man. And then we have these results. It's like, man, there's no understanding of boundaries. Now females are destroying their own kids' future, right? Telling them that they need to get divorced, that they need to just get ready for the alimony right away when they get divorced. It happens because in my circle, it does happen. I'm telling you, folks. For those men that are out there, make sure you protect yourself and understand what's going on, right? You have to understand what's going on. It doesn't matter if there's passport bros. If they go outside the United States, right? They come back. You're still gonna have to deal with the ideology. The ideology is not gonna go anywhere. So you have to become a man that has to go against ideology, and that means that you have to become powerful. Let's go.
The reason many daughters don't get married is because they don't want to leave their mothers.
And I can see that with my own daughter, and I'm pushing. Like
I
right now, she's
know,
getting ready
ma'am.
to
I
move.
studied this. I studied
No,
this
and I agree.
material.
Like right
So my
now,
point
Cannot
is,
listen.
so listen.
Trouble listening.
mhm.
It's how you may understand and what you can speak aspirationally, but if you're not actually telling your daughter, don't worry about mama. I want you to have a husband.
I told her that. I've said that.
But you gotta
You have to live it. My God.
you've been on this planet long enough to know it's not what we say, it's what we do and how
And
we
I
talk
agree
about
with
it.
you on that. And I agree.
No,
So
see, she's not listening. She's not listening. She's saying the right things. She's not listening. She's not listening. She's not gonna learn. She's not gonna learn, folks. Kevin, just take the L on this one. You just move to the next one.
So when we talk about relationships, when you tell me about your relationship history, it's all been negative.
It sucks. It does.
Then how can you speak positive to her?
I mean, like I said, Kevin, it's like one of the things that I recognize. Like I recognize my mistakes. I take ownership of my mistakes.
I'm not trying to get you to take ownership of a mistake. What I'm trying to get you to understand is you can't do it alone.
I understand, and I know that too. Like I have my brother.
She's perfect though. She has everything figured out. That's what I'm saying, Kevin. You might have to take the L and just go to the next one. Sometimes we have to let them just burn down, man, because if they're not gonna understand the concept, there's no reason to spend energy.
One thing that I think older women are going to start doing, you're going to start bringing your daughters around men.
Right.
Because the only thing you have to pull from to talk to your daughter about is relationships that didn't work. And your issue with that man.
I totally agree.
There we go. See? You know what I'm saying? You see?
And that's the one thing
there we go.
I did try. Like, when I do date, I do try to bring, like, if I do go out on a date and I'm comfortable with the person, I try to let my daughters see me date, to see the bad, the good, and the ugly. So.
That's not what I'm talking about, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're not listening.
But I'm glad you said it because it is still about you.
Yep.
Okay. And I don't want to make it about me. So.
You're making it.
Shut up. It's about you. This is what I mean. This is why so many young women are coming to these platforms because, like it or not, whether you intend it or not, your generation failed these women. And y'all need to own it. Y'all failed these women.
Okay.
Because we are quick to say that our father's generation failed us. We're quick to say deadbeat dads and absentee fathers. Well, goddamn it, it's time for y'all to start admitting we have failed our daughters. We do not speak about relationships with men as anything to be positive, happy, or to build any kind of anticipation. Do your daughters, do black daughters, what is going on with your speaker? Jesus Christ. Hold on.
You have an echo?
Hold on. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly fine.
Do black daughters look at relationships like children looked at Christmas morning?
Good point.
I could say mine's probably don't.
Do black daughters look at relationships like children looked at Christmas morning?
I would say mine's probably don't.
Do black daughters, not just yours?
Okay, I would say no. I would say probably say no.
Then that is a failing of the mothers.
Yeah, they fail.
I can take ownership of my part, yes.
Because Chris, because you know what I'm talking about. When you're a kid, we used to, Thanksgiving, we were on high alert. We were looking forward to Christmas morning. It was an event. It was a thing. The Christmas practice, the wrapping, the entire thing. It was not just it wasn't just the bicycle or the basketball or the whatever. It was the entire experience. But how are y'all talking about relationships? How are y'all living relationships? You know what? Relationships, if black relationships were Christmas presents, they would be a pair of socks put in a gift bag.
That's deep.
Who gets excited about getting a pair of socks in a gift bag? Nobody even took the time to wrap it.
Oh wow!
But you got a gift.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We got a Christmas tree with no lights, no tinsel, and a bunch of gift bags with socks under it. Merry fucking Christmas, black girls. And we wonder why our young ladies are so terrified of marriage to where they got to get this. Did you listen to the video where they had that 26-year-old young girl?
Yes, I saw it.
I got to get my bag. I got to get my bag. I got to get my bag. I got to get my hustle. Relationship's on a priority. And I'm like, why is this young lady who came from a relationship, and so many young girls feel like life is about money and careers and bags and so forth, because that's what's been given to them by the women. Because you're the controllers of the culture, not us.
Right.
Women control the culture, not us. So it's all about hustling, getting the bags up, and so forth. And we can't fix it.
Right.
The women have to sit back and do what women of old have always done. It's in your Bible. The elder women have to teach the younger women.
Yep.
But in order to do that, your generation of women is going to have to fall on the sword and say, my life is over, and I got to give up what's left of my life to teach this next generation. That requires you being selfless, not trying to expand your options. And that really goes against strong, independent, I don't need no man.
That's basically your world, your perception of the world. It has to crush down. You might have to cry for 3 months. You have to look at the mirror and say, "Why in the world did I just did with my life? I committed all these things." After all that crying and realizing that you did all these bad things, you have to say, "It was my fault." Now the question is, you think that's gonna happen? Do you really think it's going to happen with the absence of Kevin Samuels and some of the other folks? I don't think so. I don't think so, folks. Because you need a leader for these things.
My life, my choice goes against all this stuff. But I got news for you. If we don't get young black women in a position to want to be wives, we don't have a black community in 10 years. It's gone.
And I agree.
Gone. Yep. And it's gone because we don't have any wives. Young black girl, your daughter 21, in other races, your daughter got a 50+% chance of being married. 54% or higher. In our community, less than 20% after you take out the baby boom. And that ain't got nothing to do with the men or daddies. So I get it. Our generation, we were lied to. We got a bunch of misinformation.
Yep.
And it sucks because unfortunately, when I was a young man, because we're contemporaries, when I was a young man in the 90s, we paid for a lot of shit.
Right.
Go back and look at the movies in the 90s. Black men is gay down low. All you saw was black women moving and shaking in corporate America, and the black men went in the mailroom.
Yeah. Look at the show Martin Lawrence. And that was the shows in the beginning of the 90s. Martin Lawrence, he's a guy that is in a radio show, right? But his girlfriend, they're living together. His girlfriend, she's in corporate America, trying to achieve her her spot, kind of thing, right? And you can see where the manipulations start. That's back in early in the 90s. Go check it out, Martin Lawrence. Then you should start watching that show. You will see what I'm saying. They manipulated them.
We took a lot of shit. But now, men have gotten themselves into a position. We're not on cops anymore and this and that. 54% of black men are single and childless. 61% of the middle class. Clawed yourself into the position of respect. Now it's time for black men over 40 to experience what you guys got in the 20s. What was that? Don't Want No Scrubs and all them songs that was coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's y'all's turn.
Yep.
It's y'all's turn. And we had to eat that shit. Now y'all gonna eat it. You better do it with a smile. Because what's at stake is your daughters.
Right, that's true.
Because Becky, Marisol, Marlene, and Jamila ain't studying Keisha. They're coming right over here and learning how to fix collard greens and macaroni and cheese to get black men.
Yeah.
These young Zennial men, me and your daughter's age, then black women be race loyal and choosing them first. You got boys as young as 12 talking about, I don't want to be with nobody. Y'all too mean.
That is very common. That's true.
7 years old. Look on TikTok. And all these boys are around and no men are around their mamas. Where do they get this stuff from? So it is up to the women in your generation to sacrifice if you really, really want a black community. And the sacrifice is going to be to give up the rest of y'all's lives to step into the role Big Mama had.
Take the L.
Big Mama's age. We should be out there trying to rip. Big Mama, could you imagine your grandmama trying to get out and do with some of the stuff that people your generation do, our age do?
I've never seen my grandparents. My grandparents were still living, except for one. And
But my point is, could you see
right.
could
No,
you
I
see
did.
anybody
No, I did.
when you was 10 years old? You couldn't imagine nobody in their late 40s, 50s talking about I gotta get out to the club and I need to date.
Yeah, that's
What?
no.
No, so good conversation. I mean, like I said, it's not Generation X got a raw deal.
You
And
know,
I think, and I feel
it's
sorry for
the
Generation X women. But here's the thing: I feel sorry for you guys, but you got the benefit because when we were coming out of college, black women were getting hired at a rate of 2 to 1 with black men because you counted as a double minority against affirmative action. The gains that black men were supposed to get out of civil rights went to you guys through affirmative action in Title IX. That's why we had this entire black women are doing this and doing that and outpacing black men. So black men caught hell for good 20 some odd years. Now we're just like, oh, good. That's why black men over 40 are some of that. Black men over 40 are some of the happiest men on the planet.
Interesting.
Because all the shit that we had to survive. We didn't have wives. We didn't have women who wanted to be our counterparts.
Good point. Very good point.
Yeah,
I'm a PhD.
And that's what it was. You know that's what it was. You know that's what it was. Go back and look at the movies of Halle Berry. Go back and look at the movies of the 90s with all them short haircuts.
Yeah, bro, that's what I said. And in the Martin Lawrence show, she has a short haircut, and you know what's crazy? There's go to the 90s and check all the corporate America women, bro. They all had this Hillary Clinton short hair, bro. It's like an expression of empowerment. I'm not joking. Go back to the 90s and see what I'm talking about.
Right? That's true.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. Short haircuts and corporate chicks.
Yeah.
In Atlanta was ground central, ground zero for all that shit. All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
But thank you so much.
Later.
Hey, great conversation. End it very
That
well.
was good. That's a hard conversation, but it's true, man. That was good. Ladies, how are you talking to your daughters about relationships?
Yeah.
How are you talking to your daughters about relationships? Are you talking to your daughters like, girl, you need to get you a man? I honestly think a lot of women would think that they were doing something wrong telling their daughters they need to get a man. Be like, I don't want to tell my daughter she needs a man. Think about what I just said. How many mothers would feel like they're wrong for telling their daughter, you need to get you a man? Like, I'm not going to tell that to my daughter. She don't need no man.
Wow.
She can do it just fine.
And you know what's the funny thing, though? The funny thing is that, man, this is not only in the black community, of course. This is all over. Hispanics are next, and then the white community are next, and then follow up with the Asians. It's coming for everybody. So that means there's some structure in that ideology, where it's come with the feminism, that has created this inversion of the current state. And inversion means if we get all from 0 to 100, and the 100 means that we have skylines and big buildings, and we have the system, and then you want to flip it. What do you think is going to happen when you flip it? It's going to crumble. But this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to just crumble. We're trying to flip the patriarchy with the matriarchy, the lenses of the male side of things, to now hear the female side of things. And we already, just in a matter of 50 years, man, not even 50 years. Yeah, 50, 60 years. We already have the results, man. Females taking advantage of the legal system, divorcing on purpose to make sure they can get the financial incentives, right? 70% of females are divorcing a marriage. When is their idea of just celebrating the ceremony? It's crazy. It's clearly because there's an incentive because I can guarantee you, folks, and there was no. If the incentive was 0, they would never leave that marriage. They would never leave the marriage. If you're telling me I can get that divorce and I get alimony and I have kids and I can get child support on top of that, I don't have to work. No, I don't have to work for the next 20 years. And then I can bring another guy as a new boyfriend, while the ex-husband has to pay. Bro, don't let me start, man. I can go on and on and on, bro. And then it's so obvious. The clear thing is so obvious. But man, we have weak people, man. We have people, and I think, hey, there's a new movement with guys that we understanding what's going on. We know what this last generation they did, right? And we're trying to figure out what went wrong. I was listening to some of the 90s and early 2000s new metal, Limp Bizkit, System of a Down. When you go back and see their culture, they thought they were the top of the food chains, bro. They thought they were in the top, man. They thought they have it all figured out, man. They thought they were different, but in reality, they were just the same people being dragged. They were just being dragged to this position of destruction. I love that music, man. 90s, early 2000s music. Oh man, metal. Oh, I love it. But bro, you can see, man. You can see how people thought they were doing something different, but then they were not. They were just allowing the dopamine of the culture destroy them. Think about it. If you went 20, 30 years just doing stupid stuff, now it's time for you to take responsibility. Can you teach the next generation how not to be stupid? You can. You spend more time being stupid. And now apply that to females like this. Single mom, and now you have a daughter. Do you think your daughter's going to have a good outcome? No, she's not going to have it. She never had the experience to have that outcome. So you have to just prepare for what is coming. She's going to be a single mom with a kid. I don't know what to say, folks. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. You agree? You guys disagree with me? Let me know in the description down below, and I will see you in the next one. I'm out. Peace.